Cyber Monday kicks off on the 30th of November this year, and it gives a huge opportunity to businesses online to sell more to a willing consumer audience. Lots of deals, discounts and offers are available over the course of that day and indeed that week as retailers look to take advantage of the opportunity that online e-tailing allows. We have a number of panellists available to us today who are going to share their insights into what businesses can do in order to take advantage of this really busy shopping period. It's fair to say that with COVID-19, lots and lots of businesses are online, and likewise lots of consumers are as well. So let me go and introduce you to the first of our panellists, Oonagh McCutcheon from IE Domain Registry, David Campbell from flexifi, and Sophie Piggott from Home Focus at Hickey's. It's great to have you guys here, and thanks so much for making yourselves available to help businesses that are watching and listening in today. First up, first question, what are your expectations for Cyber Week?
Yeah, I might start this one off, if that's okay with you guys. So obviously, I think an awful lot of retailers, as you mentioned, they had a huge shift towards online over the past couple of months with lockdown, with COVID. And it was a bit of a wake-up call for a lot of Irish retailers. But it was obviously great that we had the government support available to help obviously upskill their online presence. But I think all the panelists here, they'll probably agree with me in the sense that this year with Cyber Week, it's probably going to be one we've ever come across, whether it be Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We're all kind of interested, obviously, how early it's going to start this year, because kind of traditionally, when I think of Cyber Week or Black Friday in Ireland, I think of Harvey Norman, maybe Curry's. They kind of piggyback off each other. Like, how early are they going to go? And it's not a case of it's a one-day event at this stage anymore. It could be week-long. It could be 6 weeks at this stage. But also, if the sales are continuing to go, a lot of retailers are actually keep these discounts and prolong them, obviously, into the Christmas period. So that's one thing that's going to be interesting this year, and it's a bit unknown. For touch wood, see the Irish retailers, they can upskill and enhance their online presence to obviously cater with the excess demand. So one big thing over the past couple of months is there's obviously a huge shift with the online, but we expect it's going to get even bigger and bigger for Cyber Week from a convenience and kind of safety factor. There'll obviously be less footfall in the actual physical stores coming up to Christmas this year in Cyber Week. So it's really important that they obviously have their website, their social media, the customer support, and just the overall online operations in check to obviously fulfill and the increased demand and deliver a great customer service similar to what you get actually in store. There'll be a big increase in the likes of social commerce this year, and whether it be Facebook, could be Instagram, could be Snapchat. For example, like there was records broken left, right, and centre last year with the likes of Gymshark. So they're a huge online clothing brand, and they're now $1 billion company, and they're the fastest growing UK company. At the moment as present. So it'd be really interesting, obviously, what their strategy is, and similar with the Irish retailers across all various different sectors. I mentioned how early are they going to go, and it's like how long is a piece of string at this stage, and similar question, obviously, how much is expected to be sold online for Cyber Week this year. It's a bit of an unknown, but all things are kind of leading to obviously record-breaking sales for the Irish retailers. There'll be obviously a lot of hype and expectations for various different sectors, especially electronic and tech, with the likes of the PlayStation that's launching later this year. So there'll be huge demand for those electronic and tech retailers. But also you have to take into account the likes of Amazon Prime Day. So that traditionally that will be in October this year. It'd be interesting to see if consumers do an awful lot of their shopping before Black Friday and Cyber Week, for example, Prime Day. And one thing that's really, really important as well is we obviously don't want to cannibalize the existing sales coming into Christmas for the Irish retailers. So I do think it's really important to obviously get the point across with shop local, support your local stores across various different sectors, because like we have some fantastic Irish case studies in terms of retailers. For example, Sophie today, it's a fantastic brand, and we're obviously delighted to support those guys as much as possible.
Thanks, David. Sophie, you'll have some hands-on experience in terms of what needs to be done for Cyber Week. Can you let us know what your expectations are for this year?
Sure. I guess for the past 3 years, Cyber Week, whether it be Black Friday or Cyber Monday, has been the busiest week of the year, and that's both online and in our stores. And with judging by what happened in the last few months, and with the huge shift towards online shopping, we at Home Focus at Hickey's expect Cyber Week 2020 to be the biggest yet. And as opposed to, COVID-19 and the lockdown being kind of a huge surprise. At least for Cyber Week, we know the date. We can get ready for it. I suppose for us, we are homeware brand. A lot of our customers will be getting the home or their house ready for Christmas. So Black Friday and Cyber Monday are always a really good time for us in terms of people buying curtains, cushions, new bedding, especially Christmas bedding. And they do every year. They do wait for the Cyber Week to get into store or to go online and shop with us.
Thanks, Sophie. Oonagh, what's your experience?
Yeah, I think if you look at sort of the big picture for Cyber Week, and having come from the States as a phenomenon a number of years ago and was kind of slowly adopted in Ireland, and retailers dipped their toe in the water, some very successfully and some maybe not quite as much so. In the States, of course, it's been in-store as well as online, and all the indications this year are that the in-store element of Black Friday and Cyber Monday won't take place. So they're looking at alternatives like curbside pickup, click and collect, and so on. And I suppose that's going to, because a lot of it is going to move online, there's a whole lot of logistical aspects that need to be planned for and worked out. And I think for companies who have already participated in Cyber Week, the Irish companies who participated in Cyber Week previously, they have the benefit of that experience under their belt. I think some of the other trends that we're seeing are that Irish shoppers and consumers are more likely to buy more online in the run into the Christmas season itself. And, once Cyber Week happens, it's fairly likely that that momentum of online sales is going to continue. So yes, it is a one-off event, but I think it's going to almost be like a wave where consumers are saying, I need to prepare early for Christmas. I'm not willing to go into shops. I don't want to take the risk. I don't want to queue, etc., etc. So I think there's going to be a very significant shift to online.
So I guess here's a question to the whole panel. Lots of retailers are obviously struggling at the moment with bricks and mortar under severe pressure. And obviously online now presents an opportunity to reach a whole wider audience. So when do you think the preparation should start in earnest for Cyber Week? I know some retailers have started already, but I guess, given the fundamental change as to how businesses are operating now, some might have taken their eye off the ball. David?
Yeah, I think... Sorry, I think you're absolutely right. I would take as much time as a retailer has in order to prepare, because COVID has been a kind of and obviously a major event, but it has changed behaviour, and it hasn't. Crises like COVID tend not to create new behaviour, but rather to accelerate behaviour that was already there. And part of the research that we have done into the Irish consumer and the Irish SME during before, during and after COVID shows some very interesting statistics and attitudes from the point of view of the consumer. The Irish consumer is very keen to support local. They're very patriotic. They want to shop with Irish online stores where that's possible. And they are now spending more online and estimate that they will continue to do that, while at the same time saying they want to get back in store when that's possible to do. So that's all really positive, and they see Irish online shops, and especially those with a .ie, as being very safe and very secure and trustworthy. However, they also say that international retailers have better storefronts. They have cheaper pricing, but very importantly, a better product range. So when you're asking about preparation for Cyber Week and for the Christmas sales period, those are things that might be worth looking at. So in other words, make sure there's a really good product range up there. Make sure that the storefront looks really smart. test, keep checking it, keep seeing how it can look, and just continue that improvement. So I would say every day and every hour is necessary in order to get ready for Cyber Week and for Christmas.
Thank you, Oonagh. So operations is one part of it, but obviously digital marketing and using the social media channels is crucial as well. David or Sophie, would you like to give a perspective on that, on how important that is to have an aligned digital marketing campaign?
You were asking about when should retailers start preparing. I agree they should start preparing now, and it's really important now to book your campaign, decide on what your offer is, keep your offer as clear and simple as possible, and then book whether it's radio advertising, your social media advertising, get your panels and your ads designed, and book your advertising slots, and meet with your agency and make sure that you are promoting this really important event in your calendar. So social media, I think, because of the nature of Cyber Monday, say everybody is online, the user is online. So I suppose it's half the battle. Your job as a retailer is to draw the user to your website with enticing offers, and to make sure that they have the best experience possible on your website, all the way through to checkout, and then make sure that you have the team in place to fulfill those orders. Because what we've learned in the past few months is that, with COVID, we had to upscale to scale up very quickly in terms of our team, our stock management, our fulfillment, and to echo what Oonagh was saying, in order for us Irish retailers to compete with the likes of the giants like Amazon, we need to offer the best possible service, and that means deliver on the delivery times promise of hopefully 2 to 3 days, and then offer an excellent after sale customer service.
Thanks, Sophie, for that. That's really, really interesting. I think the reference as well to the fact that customer service is every bit as important online as it is in store, and don't ignore it, or then ignore it at your peril. Oonagh, IEDR had a tipping point report that came out obviously over the course of the last month or so. And I know you touched on some of the statistics there, but we saw a huge upsurge in the number of businesses that registered a .ie domain. What figure was that, and do you think that that's going to continue?
Yeah, we saw an absolutely huge spike immediately after the lockdown in March. So April and May were 50% ahead of the same period last year. Those high numbers continued, but tapered off slightly as the months have passed by. So I think a lot of companies are in the process now of building or improving their websites, and taking advantage of things like the Trading Online voucher and the retail program with Enterprise Ireland. So I think that businesses are definitely seeing that online complements their in-store. So it's not one or the other. At the moment, it's probably more focused towards online. But in due course, when things pass, consumers want to get back into the store. There is, however, from our research, I suppose, some slightly alarming pieces of information. So that during the lockdown, only 21% of Irish SMEs invested in their website or their online presence. And that's really a very low statistic when you think about the trend in terms of going online. And the percentage of Irish SMEs who can sell and take payments online is also very low at about 30%. So that is a huge missed opportunity. If Irish consumers can't find Irish businesses online, they're going to shop with international retailers, even though the consumers themselves are saying, we want to be patriotic and support local and support Irish business. So I think there's a little bit of a gap there. Having said that, the SMEs who've invested in their online presence since COVID hit. All report, well, not all report, but a very significant proportion report increased sales, which stands to reason. So I suppose the message is it's the two channels work, the in-store and online together, and they have to be integrated seamlessly.
So they're mutually inclusive. There are huge opportunities online. You need to invest in your online presence in order to avail of the opportunities out there, and the fact that consumers can reach you 24/7. And I think that's just a really, really good key message. Also, clearly the government supports that are available through the digital trading online voucher and the online retail scheme are there for the taking. So it's important that businesses avail of those supports right now. And just to wrap up, David, give me two key tips for retailers so that they can optimize their digital marketing and digital sales over the course of Cyber Week.
Yeah, so exactly what we're doing at the moment in flexifi with all our partners, we're obviously just trying to do best practice guidelines and making sure that they're fully equipped for the busy online periods ahead. So echoing the points from Oonagh and Sophie, key things in terms of being in constant contact with your website development agency, stress test the server, obviously that they can handle the excess and the increased traffic that's going to come. Sophie mentioned the importance of logistics, so keep in touch with your logistic partners such as DHL on updated pick-up, drop-off times, your suppliers for stock control, which is obviously going to be increased demand this year, so it's really, really important that you factor that in. With your search campaigns, for example, across Google AdWords, Google Shopping, be searching adequately for the popular keywords, the different trends coming on at the moment, so then you can optimize your campaigns efficiently and hit the nail on the head in terms of the importance, just test. So this is with your email campaigns, simple social media campaigns, for example, and even run like A/B testing.
Okay, you might have stretched a little bit beyond two there, so we'll move just on to Sophie to give her top two tips.
I guess my number one tip is make sure that your team is ready. Having the right team in place is essential for us, and that means that we can fulfill orders in time, we can deliver in time and offer the customer the best possible service, and then, as I mentioned earlier, we can offer the best customer service afterwards. So having a team that's ready and trained is essential for retailers right ahead of Cyber Week. And my second tip would be to make sure that you increase your stocks now. I think we all have a lot of stock issues with COVID-19, and it will continue on, unfortunately. But now is the time to plan ahead and hold back some stock. Because for the event and for after the event, because it will blow your stock for sure. So I think those are key tips. And then to echo what David said, make sure your server capacity is scalable. There's nothing worse than having spent a huge amount of money in a social media or digital campaign and having the customer on your site and having the website crash because it can't take all the traffic. So have a chat with your developer and make sure that your server provider and make sure that you're ready for the event.
Great, thank you both. And Oonagh, have you any tips and tricks that you've already?
If I was to give two tips, I think they'd be to take a customer view and to think of your customers. So what are the kinds of things that people find frustrating? One is, terms and conditions that aren't clear and obvious, like delivery times, delivery charges, whatever it might be. Make sure they're prominently displayed through the sales process of the shopping cart. And then once a sale has been made, I think it's very important to offer reassurance to your customers. So, confirmation of order, emails, tracking if possible, if you're able to manage that, and, clear information about delivery time and date and so on. Because I think the lack of information can be cause a lot of anxiety for customers and maybe unnecessary phone calls or emails chasing up a product. So just make sure all those pieces are in place.
So I guess all of those tips are essential in order to ensure brand reputation remains intact and that there aren't unforeseen problems on the day. Well, listen, thank you very much to all of you. Really, really appreciate getting your advice and insights and tips. And I think all of the attendees who are listening today will certainly avail of them and implement them. And thanks again for being so helpful.